Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of Built How. You know, people always ask me, how did you build forward coaching? How did you become successful, attract clients, and, without spending a fortune in marketing? It's actually a really great question because as a real estate agent, I was a really aggressive prospector. In fact, I often would spend hours a day making cold calls. Then I went into coaching, running coaching companies, had an endless supply of clients that were given to me because of my credentials and track record. And yet, when I decided to launch my own coaching company dedicated to custom coaching for the real estate industry, I was really starting from scratch because, of course, I had a non-compete, had to leave other clients behind and start over. I remember I launched my company on April Fool's Day. Can you imagine, right? What a choice. And I still remember that feeling, and I'm sure some of you can identify with this, of walking to my desk, sitting down, and everything was at zero. Right? I didn't have a single client. I didn't even have a single team member yet. And yet I had a vision and a commitment to what I wanted to do and build. So I started off going back to my old patterns, which was, well, I'm going to get a list and I'm going to start to cold call. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with cold calling. Some of you have incredibly successful careers and you do a lot of, well, or we might call it circle prospecting, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it the way I've always done it. I'm going to get on the phone, I'm going to grind it out, and I'm going to call a lot of people who don't know who I am or what I do or what I offer. See, as I started making those calls, though, I realized this is going to take a long time. And I need to build this much faster than calling strangers, getting lots of rejection, ending up with a handful of clients at the end of the week. So I decided, well, what's a better way? Wouldn't it be a better way to do educational events, to do webinars, in-person speaking events where I offered to show up and speak for free? And the opportunity is that I got to meet new people to my world and provide value and have them get to know me. So that in that course of enjoying that educational event, taking some great tips, hopefully, some great resources away, that they would feel grateful and they would feel positive about that experience. So in other words, I warmed them up, right? So I took a group of cold contacts and met them, provided value, and they decided, hopefully, that they would like me and would be willing to talk to me. All right, but how did I get these events and webinars? Joint venture partners. So who had my ideal client in their database? Vendors, affiliates, title companies, brokers, mortgage companies, you name it, anyone who had my ideal client in their roster, I contacted them and said, would you like a complimentary webinar or an event? Why am I telling you this story? Because you can do exactly the same thing in your business. In fact, here at Forward Coaching, over about the past year and a half, we have helped our coaching clients master the art of doing these educational events. We were off to a really great start in January, and then, of course, very quickly after that, we started hearing about COVID, and suddenly in March, COVID shut everything down. So what did our coaching clients do? They just simply moved those educational events to Zoom and continued on. Events that were everything from, is it time to move up and stay and remodel? Should I be downsizing with distinction? Should I buy a home or should I rent? Should I buy my first investment? I think of it as, what are the conversations that are going on in the mind of the prospect that we could answer on this educational event? Some even did things like a virtual coffee where they would answer any question that clients wanted to ask them. Some did virtual happy hours. And those were all fun, great connections. And yet, first and foremost, those educational events were an amazing feeder of quality leads. So let me break down the process again. You choose your topic, then you take your database, past clients, sphere, maybe it's your pipeline of old leads that you've purchased, old leads, cold leads, dead leads, your personal social media. And you then look at who are my joint venture partners who would benefit from this event. They have something interesting and valuable, because remember, it's not about them showing up and pitching and doing a commercial. It's about them showing up and adding value to that event. Maybe it's a financial planner, a CPA. Maybe it's someone in insurance. Maybe it's your lender. And maybe it's 2 or 3 per event. Because here's the magic. When they invite their groups and their groups join the event, you've now opted them into your world and you have a warm and friendly introduction. So then what? Well, because we don't want to make this a hard sell event, what we want to do is offer at the end an opportunity to connect if they would like to connect with you. So they can request a tip sheet, a free report, they can text or email you to book a consult. So some will. Most of the results, though, it's going to come in the follow-up. So what we do here and what we teach our coaching clients to do is finish the event, which is recorded, then send a copy of the recording, any reports or gifts that you want to include, and you send them not only to those who attended, but to everyone who registered for that event. Because some of the best leads often come from those who registered and did not attend. So you send them that, give them maybe a day or two, and now you follow up with really what becomes a customer service call. I want to thank you for registering for the event. I don't know if you were able to attend or watch the entire event. Did you notice I did send you a copy of the recording and my complimentary gift of an educational resource that I put together for you? And I'm curious, when you registered for the event, what were you looking to discover or to learn? What questions do you have that I potentially could answer for you? Now, it's just like any other lead conversation. So what could you expect if you did this? Is it going to cost a lot of money? Actually, it doesn't really cost anything at all. Now, if you're going to do it in person in a venue at some point in the future, you might have to pay for the room, you might have to pay for some snacks, but that cost would all be shared with the joint venture partners who are participating with you. If you do it on Zoom, I do recommend that you probably would want to buy potentially the version that I think it costs about $40, and that way you can control it. It's not like the Brady Bunch house. You can present, your co-host can present, but you don't have the distraction of so many faces there on your screen, because that might stress you out a bit. However, if you choose to do a virtual coffee, virtual happy hour, just a really casual ask your agent, then yeah, I would go ahead and do the one where you can see them and they can see you. So we have our webinar, our Zoom platform, and you and your joint venture partners show up. If you're not comfortable being a speaker, that's easy. Take your topic, ask one of your joint venture partners who is a great speaker to interview you. You answer questions, the FAQs of how to move up, how to downsize, should I buy my first home? And let's make sure that your partners are well rehearsed and very concise, because the main show is you. At the end of that event, you have your call to action, you send out your recording, and you follow up, as we've already mentioned. But what if they don't respond? Well, you've captured them. you nurture them, and you invite them to future events. So what are the ratios? Well, if you do everything we just talked about, odds are you may have anywhere from 5 to 30 people attend the event. Now, you may have a massive database of leads you've purchased. Maybe your attendance will be greater. Or you may do a big mail marketing campaign because you're doing an in-person event. I've done those before and had as many as 150 attend. Let's be conservative though. Let's say only 5 to 30 attend. Well, I want to tell you about one of our terrific coaching clients, Jada Turner. Jada decided that she doesn't like to cold call. That's not her fit for her personality. She likes educating and helping people and providing value. She did at least 2 of these events throughout the year this year. Jada closed over 12 million in volume just from her events, with another 2 or 3 million in quality leads in her pipeline. She loves it. And I think she'll do it ongoing forever. When COVID calms, she plans to going back to doing what she did in January, which is have a monthly event at the local country club. And then she's also going to continue to do her 2 Zoom events a month, the virtual events. Jada often had 5 to 30 people attend. Her conversion, 90% within 90 days. Because when you think about it, they showed up for a reason. They showed up because that particular topic was the conversation that was going on in their mind, and they wanted answers. And when they came to that webinar, Jada did an amazing job, very polished, very helpful, gracious, and professional, no hard sell, no pitch. And she simply followed up afterwards. She has some great stories too. She talked about her very, very first event at the country club. Only 1 couple attended. She was devastated, embarrassed. And she stood up front and made some, apology about how no one else had shown up. And this couple said, actually, we're so delighted they didn't, because we really came here today hoping we could list our house. She sat down, took their listing. I believe, if I'm correct, it was over $1 million listing. Another great story. So on her Zoom event, as she was calling back and prospecting that registration list, she connected with someone who had registered and did not attend. He said, I'm so sorry, I couldn't make it. And actually, the reason I wanted to attend, I wanted to meet you because I believe I want to list my home with you. She has become known in her community as the wise advisor. And in fact, she told me just this morning that she was working to get to the table at a listing opportunity. And they shared with her that someone else had called them also. And they said, we're meeting with Jada Turner. And that agent said, oh, wow, she's the expert in the community. If you're meeting with her, then never mind, which is kind of crazy, right? They just eliminated themselves from the interviews because they felt so confident she would beat them. So you want to stand the test of time in your market. You want to be that wise advisor that disrupts the disruptors. And if you want to expand your range, reach, and influence in the community, maybe educational events are the way to go for you in the new year as well. Remember, you can do them virtually for free. Your joint venture partners will help you so you don't have to do all of the heavy lifting. They're not expecting you to be a professional speaker. Just show up and provide value. And then, of course, follow up efficiently, consistently, and nurture them. So if they don't buy or sell now, we'll catch them next time. So can you expect 90% conversion? Jada's very good at what she does. So what if it were 50%? What if it were 25%? What if you simply did 1 educational event a month and added 1 to 2 deals a month from those educational events? Not bad, right? And Trust me, you can do it. Okay. None of us like to watch ourselves. None of us likes to hear ourselves. And yet the public that cares about you, that knows you, will be delighted to hear what you have to say. So I hope you'll give it a try. By the way, those of you, I should say, who are already in forward coaching with us, you know, we have the 4 educational event kits completely ready for you. And we have training on how to do them effectively. So if you're not in coaching, maybe you should be. We'll help you learn how to do these. All right, guys, thank you for watching. And let's go on to our next interview.